What up, world? Today I'm wearing the Truth Lizard t-shirt that you can get on uh, ttyak.art.com. That's Ttyak, which is abbreviation for the truth you always knew. Art.com. This one, I believe, costs like $22. Free shipping? No, I don't know if it's free, but they ship all over the world. This is a drawing I made. Society 6 is the company that does that. Anyone could do it. You could submit your piece of art and you can put it on mugs, shirts, canvases, tons of stuff. But it's cool. It's cool. I think that we live in a cool time for that to happen. 10 years ago, you couldn't do that. You couldn't just say, hey, I'm going to make something and then upload it, and then anyone in the world could buy it anywhere. And like, it's real, physical. It's cool. So, this is, I believe, Scientific Enlightenment number 11. We'll say it's number 11. I want to talk about automating and what that leads to. I want to talk about a bit about programming, but not then automating, and how you could basically harness the forces of the universe to invest in your future. But speaking about, I like one of my way earlier videos about how capturing digital reality and then planting it on the internet is kind of like planting a seed in a garden, and then with time it'll grow. With time, more views come. With time, more things happen to the thing that you planted way back when, and more connections with other people and whatnot, and then it just grows your product, your life grows by digitally planting reality. So that's pretty interesting. So about the automation and the programming. Programming in general, I believe, should be taught in like high school now. It should be like, we used to have computer class when I was growing up, and it was already like too late for computers. Like, my music teacher was like, why are you gonna take a computer class? He's like, computers are so standard. It'd be like taking like a phone class, how to use a phone. He's saying computers are gonna be so everywhere that taking a class for it is so dumb. You're gonna learn how to use it anyways. But coding is different. Coding is something like gardening. It's like learning how to self-sustain yourself, or learning how to make your ideas real because you could program it. Programming is a language of the future, and it's a tool that makes you do things. You are able to make machines work for you, or make machines do what you want them to do by programming. And it's not as difficult or as intense as it seems. It's just, there's two main problems. One is that there's so many different languages and they're all kind of segregated, and there's no real standard in anything. It's always like, what's the new one, what makes the most sense? But they're trying to make it as syntax, like as English syntax as possible, and as easy to understand, and as kind of cross standard with across the whole world, or across whatever, just one standard. That would be the ideal, but we need to start teaching it to the youth, the high school, I would say. So about programming and automation. So I think that time is free in the sense that it's always flowing, and no matter how much money you have or how much power you have in the world, you can't stop time, you can't slow it down. You could have a different perspective of it, like, oh, it's going faster for me because I'm having fun, it's going slower because I'm bored, or I'm on a certain drug that has like a time dilation effect, and like, oh my god, time is going whatever. But like, time itself is always going to be flowing. So you could take advantage of that with automation. So by automating a program to do something that you want it to do, and having it start on a certain time on your computer, and whatnot, like set it and forget it style, you could take advantage of this fact that time is going anyways, and that you don't need that much input humanly wise with your own energy to put into the thing once it's automated. I'm not really saying what I want to say, but I'm learning how to automate web browser tasks. So basically anything you do on an internet browser, which is pretty much, I would say 90% of what anyone does on a computer is through an internet browser. You could program a robot to do what you want on that, and then automate it on top of it. Some people do that with likes and stuff for social media. A lot of people have made companies out of that, get more followers, get likes for likes, and they're just basically doing robots. But if you get your wheels turning in your head and you think like, oh, I'm always doing this monotonous thing for work or whatever, and then you can just make a macro do it for you. It's really something. And then back to what I was saying about digital planting of your seeds and stuff. If you combine the two and then you kind of make some automation happening, you like your digital life doesn't have to be your only hustle, but it's going to take care of itself because of the time factor, the fact that time's where it's going, and then the fact that you could kind of automate whatever you want to make it grow more is an amazing thing. So electricity, so you're basically putting electricity and time. Like electricity is powering the computers, and electricity is pretty fucking cheap. Like no matter where you are in the world, the electricity is not that expensive, and it's kind of free, and it works on gravity too ultimately because of the waterfalls and whatever, which is also always going. So, and that's kind of like, you know, time and gravity are linked, like intensely linked. Like I think I could explain why, like once I finish the book I'm writing, but it's fucking heavy, doc. It is fucking heavy. So yeah, so put yourself in a position to learn some code. Put yourself in a position to and don't be overwhelmed because, oh, I don't understand it. And I'll say the best way to learn is to actually have a reason to learn. Like, don't just go and take a course at a university or go buy a textbook and read it and like, oh, I'm gonna learn how to code. And what does this mean? What does this mean? Instead, have yourself an idea of a project that you want to do, an app or a website or a whatever little code that you want to run in Excel, even just like a macro Excel automation task or anything on your computer, and be like, I want this to happen. I want this to happen when I press this. I want this to happen. And don't think about what code you need to learn and how you need to learn the code. Just have an end goal. If you put the end goal with money to even further motivate yourself, even if it's like $10 a year, your brain is still gonna be like, yo, this is worth it because there's money at the end, even if there's no money, just to make yourself learn. And then when you have a goal, you learn the thing that it takes, which is the coding or whatever, the language. You learn it as you're trying to get to the goal because you have to pass through the learning of the code. And coding is like that. You're gonna hit walls that you never read about in a book, and then stupidities, and then you're gonna be in the system and in the culture, and then you're gonna be with the times, and the languages are gonna evolve continuously anyways. So don't do the school path. School is broken anyways. Let me do a goal and then I'm gonna learn it that way. That works for me, and well, I think it's the best way to learn when you self-teach, but then also the goal thing. So that's it. Not really talking about physics, like, but the gravity, time, and the electricity, and how they're all kind of like free and flowing, and how you could hook up computers to these things and grow yourself and your future. It's just like we are sitting in the golden age of humanity right now, and we're all kind of calm about it. But if you ain't jumping, if it hasn't hit you yet, and no matter how old you're, I'm 26. It kind of hit me like 2 years ago. If you're like 13 and it's hitting you, good. If you're like 38 and it's hitting you, good. If you're 50 and it's hitting you, still good. Like, you're still good. Because it hasn't hit a lot of people, and it won't hit a lot of people like until 5 years. And there's that quote that says like, in a year from now you wish you started today. Hell yeah. So start today.